Today we are very excited to kick off a new adventure as we embark on a 750-kilometer cycling trip through the south of Sweden. For the next 10 days we'll be paddling our way through the beautiful Swedish countryside. In this episode we'll be covering the first leg of our journey, an 85 kilometers ride from Blentarp to a cozy Swedish bivouac hut where we'll be spending the night. Under a brilliantly blue sky, we set off on an adventure in a country perhaps more renowned for its grey and dreary weather. But you won't hear us complaining. Almost immediately we cycle into a nature reserve. Our hearts are filled with joy as we fully enjoy the tranquility. The nature reserve we are cycling through is called the Häckeberga Nature Reserve. It's characterized by its varied landscape, which includes wetlands, pastures and beech forests. The area is home to a rich variety of plant and animal life, including deer, wild boar and many species of birds. It's a popular destination for hiking, camping and fishing and cycling. We follow smooth gravel paths that are easy enough to ride on, allowing us to get used to the weight on our bikes. Single tracks are on the menu as well, and they are quite fun to ride on as long as there are not too many rocks and roots on the trail. When we turn onto a mountain bike trail, we soon regret our choice. The narrow, winding single tracks are difficult to manage with our wide tanks. Some sections require us to walk, which seems to signal the mosquitoes to eagerly take the opportunity to bite my arms and legs. We take a short break in a grassy area where local Swedish families have gathered up to wrap up the weekend with a barbecue. We content ourselves with 2 cold wraps I made at home the day before yesterday. Despite this, they still taste quite good. But when you're on a trek, you tend to be easily satisfied. A little too many cattle gates make it difficult for us to pass. And another cattle gate. Yep, there is another cattle gate. We see that the route sends us back over single tracks. Although we hesitate for a moment, we take the plunge. And once again, regret comes quickly. The trail turns out to be more of a walking path than a mountain bike trail. Rocks and roots make it unrideable. We are both forced to hike a bike, and Wim has to enjoy some sections twice since my bike is too heavy for me to push up alone. Sweat drips from my forehead. Incredibly, it's now 27 degrees Celsius here in Sweden. We ride through a military domain that is one of the largest and most important training grounds for the Swedish army. It is used for a variety of exercises, including armored vehicle maneuvers, infantry training, and live fire exercises. The training ground covers an area of approximately 10,000 hectares and is made up of a variety of different terrains, including forests, fields, and wetlands. This makes it an ideal location for training soldiers in a variety of different combat scenarios. When there aren't cattle gates, there are bridges that are too narrow for our wide bikes. So we have to take off our bags first, and then we can move our bikes over the bridge. The pleasant weather that we had all day doesn't last much longer. The clouds gather until they have enough force to become thunderclouds. The thunderstorm moves in quickly. Before we realize it, bright lightning bolts are flashing in front of and behind us. We are surrounded. Just before the hill starts to pelt down, we find shelter in a horse stable. The large white horse is startled by us, while the Shetland pony barely gives us a glance. We wait out the worst of the storm in the foyer of our two new friends' modest home. When we set off again, it's still raining, but the lightning and thunder have fortunately moved further south. We, on the other hand, continue northwards. Once again, gravel paths lie ahead of us. This time they're a bit muddier than they were about an hour ago. Still, we find a way not to let it bother us. When we find the hut after about 6 hours of cycling, we are relieved. Despite the rain, our enthusiasm remains sky high, but our energy levels had been nearing zero for a while. We quickly settle into the semi-open hut, and before we can blow a single breath of air into our sleeping mats, the sky opens up. We enjoy another heavy downpour, but fortunately we are now dry and warm. We hear the rain ticking down from the canopy for hours, and I feel incredibly happy.
Yummy!